Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the process of grieving and how we can begin to transcend it. And what does that mean? What does it look like? What does it feel like? To me, in my personalized experience, it's always ongoing. And transcendence doesn't mean that things will go back to the way that they were, or that you will forget, or that you will not hurt or have an emotional reaction to something, right? Whether that's a memory or, a situation that hits you, and then you have a strong emotion attached to it. What it means is that you begin to accept this new change, and you begin to live with this new change, and you begin to embrace your emotions that come with this new change. And if we remove the word grief, I think that we can all relate to any big change in our life. And it's difficult to navigate through that because as humans, we're conditioned to attach, right? And I think there's healthy attachments. And when we don't have that attachment anymore physically, it becomes very difficult to adapt and to accept because it shows how much love that we've had for that person, right? And so there's this acceptance that needs to happen of what is. And that's difficult to do because we will move through the emotions of grieving. And, one day we'll be sad, and then we'll be angry, and then we won't understand, and then we'll laugh, and then we'll cry again. And it comes in waves like anything. And I think that the more we can create space for that emotion to show up and allow ourselves to feel that is transcendence. Transcendence doesn't mean it happens all at once and one day you wake up and you forget and you move on. It's learning how to live with it, right? Live with any change that you are going through. And in this specific conversation, it's losing a loved one, right? And so, for example, we will get triggered by different scenarios, different situations, whether that's a thought, a physical object, a movie, a song. For example, I was going through Alea's clothes, my little baby girl, and my nieces gave me a box of clothes that they have when they were kids. So after I washed it all, I was folding it, and it was bringing back all these memories, right, with my sister-in-law, and it was difficult, like I'm getting teary-eyed talking about it right now. But the more that we can honor those memories and those thoughts and those physical objects in our own divine time, right? And that's why I talk about the self-care and, the overused phrase, raising our vibration, right? That's a whole other tangent. But what I mean by that is equipping yourself, right? Grounding yourself in that safety in your nervous system so that you can be equipped to handle the trigger that comes with grief, right? So it's not to rise above it so that you don't feel it. It's you rise in your, maybe a better word to say is you're coming back home to yourself and your nervous system, right? That's what they mean by raising your vibration, is that you create a safe place in your cells and in your body so that when you receive this trigger, you can create space to feel that emotion that comes up, right? So with the clothes, I felt the emotion. I cried, I smiled, I laughed. It was a whirlwind, right? Every piece that I would take came with a different memory of her. And then I could feel her presence with me in a different way. And again, it doesn't change the fact that she's not here with us anymore, but it brings me divine comfort knowing that she is okay and she's around, and that one day we will meet again. It's temporary. And we can use that not as a way to mask or stuff our emotions under the carpet, but to navigate and feel and move through the grieving process, right? In our own time. No one gets to tell us how we move through it. We can obviously have some support in whatever it is that we need to help us navigate through it, but it's going to look different from one situation to the next, to one person to the next. And so this idea of this whole comparison, we need to throw it out the window, because each experience is unique and we need to embrace that in our own way. And so I want you to know that it is possible to transcend it, and I want to be clear on what that transcendence means. And so in 10, 15, 20 years from now, we're still going to be hit with that memory, that situation, that physical object, and there will be an emotional component tied to it, right? But it's how we move through that creates a transcendence, right? If it keeps us closed off and spiraling, and the emotion takes a toll on us, which again will happen as we learn how to process our emotions, then that's going to hold us back from really healing and from transcending that grief. And even if you're living with grief, you can still manifest the life that you want. You can still have fun. You can still smile. You can still go on these trips that you've wanted to go prior, and not only myself, but us as a family moving through this, we haven't stopped living. And I think that's the core message, is our loved one who has crossed over wouldn't want us to stop living. And we need to remember that in the days that are more difficult, when the triggers come, when it begins too heavy when it becomes too heavy to carry, and know that there is support to help through that process, and that we are meant to do this together, not alone. And so wherever it is that you are, I want you to know that it's exactly where you need to be. And the more that we can accept what is and create a safe place in our nervous system, the more that we can handle these triggers that come with grief, these memories, these emotions, so that we can navigate through it, so that we can rise and transcend and learn how to live this new life without this physical person here, right? And it's going to take time. And I think shifting our language to, shifting our language to understand that transcendence means moving through it, and that there is no finish line. And I think that that's where the confusion lies when we talk about transcendence. We think that it's one day we wake up and we are perfectly, over it. I don't think we ever get over it. I think we learn again how to live with it. And that's a big, big, big difference. And I think that's what's going to help us navigate and heal through that experience, so that we don't stuff everything under the carpet and pretend like we're okay when we're not okay, and to put our feelings on the shelf and leave them there, instead of allowing ourselves to pick them back up when we are ready in our own divine time, right? And I want you to know that you deserve to continue to live, continue to smile, continue to embrace every moment, the dark and the light, and to find that joy for life again when you are moving through grief. And that it's okay if you feel guilty when you do it. It's okay to miss them. It's okay to be confused about it. Whatever it is that comes up, I want you to know that it's okay to feel whatever it is that you're feeling in this moment. Okay. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, create yourself a beautiful day through all the up and downs, the chaos, this crazy ride we call this human experience.